Question that we get frequently is this: how much life insurance do I really need? Hi, this is Chris Kyle with Chosen Insurance Agency, and I'm gonna go through an exercise that we use in our industry to show you how much insurance that you actually need to make sure that you and your family and all your assets are covered no matter what. So the exercise that we use to make sure our clients have enough insurance, so we use this acronym called DIME to allocate how much insurance you actually need to make sure you and your family are squared away. And so the D for DIME stands for death and debt. Typically, funerals right now, they cost roughly around $15,000. So you want to have at least that amount to make sure that your funeral and all the final expenses are covered. Now, the next thing is debt. Maybe you're going through this exercise and you're trying to figure out how much do I need? Well, write out all your debts that you have. It could be credit card, it could be student loans, it could be cars. Write it all out and total it up. So let's say Johnny has $50,000 in student loans as well as credit cards. So that's his debt. And he also needs $15,000 for his death, his funeral. So 50 plus 15, that means the D is 65,000. That's how much coverage he'll need for the D. The next letter is I, which stands for income. And most professionals recommend that you have at least 10 times your annual income in life insurance coverage. What does that mean? So if someone who's making $50,000 a year, if they want to satisfy the 10X threshold, that means they need at least $500,000 in insurance to cover their income. And basically the way that it works, if something was to happen to them, let's say they got sick or they passed away, now their family can live the next 10 years as if they're still here with that income. That's the I. M is simply mortgage. If you own a home or if you own several homes, let's say you have 2 or 3, it doesn't matter. How many mortgages do you have and what's the balance of the mortgage? Because you bought a house, you want to make sure that the house stays within the family. If something happens to you, you don't want your kids to have to uproot and switch school districts or move in with their parents or in-laws just because you don't have enough coverage to cover the house. So yes, let's say you have a mortgage and you have $300,000 left. Now you want to make sure you have at least $300,000, and that's going to cover the mortgage so the house stays within the family. No one has to uproot and move, and that's an asset that you get to keep forever. Now, last thing is this is E, which stands for education. So maybe you have children or grandchildren or someone that you plan on sending them to college. Well, if something happens to you, I'm sure you still want to make sure that they get a chance to go fulfill their education. So you want to add at least $50,000 to $100,000 per child. Let's say you have 2 kids, then you may want to have $100,000 in life insurance. And that says if I pass away within the next 10, 15, 20 years, that these kids are still going to be able to afford to go to college, even if I'm not here anymore. And so when you take all those numbers and you add them up, so with the D, we had $65,000 in debt as well as death for the funeral. Income, we said you made $50,000, so you need $500,000, which is $500,000. M, you have a mortgage, $300,000, and we have 2 kids and we want to allocate $50,000 each for each child. If you actually added all 4 numbers up, you would see that Johnny needed $965,000 in life insurance to be adequately covered. You may be watching this video and you don't have life insurance. What I recommend is 1, do this exercise to see how much you need. But first and foremost, just make sure that you go get something in place. And some of you may already have coverage. Again, do the exercise and see how big is the gap from what you need and what you have, and reach out to your agent or your broker to do your best to fill in the gap right now. So your next question may be, what type of policy do I need in order to fill in the gaps? For that, watch my video, what's the best policy, and I will see you on the other side.